Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Michael Kosta. This is the Tennis Anyone podcast, Monday, September 8th, 10 a.m. Thank you for listening on Spotify, Apple. Thank you for watching on YouTube. I am in Brooklyn, just digesting both U.S. Open finals. I don't like my camera angle. We're adjusting a tiny bit. That looks more level. We're going to quickly go through the losers, press conferences. Of course, Carlos Alcaraz beat Jannik Sinner in 4 sets pretty handily. I mean, it was a dominating performance. It was kind of what we thought he could do all the time. And, really kind of shares and shows how Wimbledon, to me, was such a surprise that Jannik Sinner dominated Carlos. And you'll see in his Jannik Sinner's press conference, the word he comes up with all the time is he says he's too predictable. And it is true. I was at the semifinal match against Felix Auger-Aliassime. He was pushed. Kudos to Felix. Wow. Played unbelievable tournament. Still can't believe his backhand is as touch and go as it is, making the semi of the U.S. Open. I mean, I feel like I, with my limited tennis ability and knowledge, can see what Felix Auger-Aliassime can do to improve his backhand. The slice floats. It is not a carving slice. It is not an offensive slice. It is not something he feels comfortable hitting. Even on the third slice, every time he would miss. And his backhand, it looks good from the very beginning, but then as soon as he kind of gets it down here, he does this little drop. Even I, with my naked eye, can see that. So obviously, I'm not the only one that notices that Felix has trouble with his backhand. I'm sure he and his camp do, just like Coco knows about her forehand. And should be happy that you made the semis of the U.S. Open. You beat De Minaur, you beat Zverev, you beat Rublev. You haven't had a great couple years. Congrats to Felix Auger-Aliassime for making the semi. And wow, the forehand is insane. The athleticism is insane. And the serve is insane. I think he led the U.S. Open in aces. So anyways, but Jannik is a little predictable. And it's fun to criticize the world number one because he played somebody who was so good that shows his weaknesses, right? And Carlos has got it all, ladies and gentlemen. My God. Serve and volley, touch at net, ground strokes. What do you want to play? The forehand or the backhand? I guess you play the backhand because the forehand can be so offensive all the time. And if anything, I hope junior boys and girls coaches see that if you know how to move forward at the game, if you know how to hit drop volleys, if you know how to stick volleys, if you know how to volley from a difficult position, you can win the point faster. Jannik Sinner has gotten a lot better at volleying, and you can tell, but he's still so clearly uneasy up there. Carlos takes a short ball, doesn't have to hit a winner with it, just has to hit a very good approach shot against the world number one, and he can finish the point at net. Jannik takes a short ball and has to hit a winner because he doesn't really know how to volley. So my hope is that people learn that you have to come forward, especially in today's day where everyone's so far back. Look at Daniil Medvedev's tournament, and then look at Carlos Alcaraz's tournament. The guy who stands all the way back and can't volley versus the guy who can move forward. If players want to keep winning, you got to move forward. Plus the longevity. I mean, do you really want to bang 19 shots against the world number one ground stroker at 2-all in the first set? No, you want to hit a big first serve, big first shot, and if you can, come on in. We're going to see the game slowly morph into people moving forward more, especially because the drop shot is becoming more and more essential as they move farther and further back. So fun to watch. Don't forget, Jannik Sinner made all 4 Grand Slam finals. He won the Australian. He lost in the finals of the French, even though he had match points. He won Wimbledon handily, and he lost in 4 sets to the U.S. Open. So by far, the best performance of the year. Carlos Alcaraz won the French, lost in the finals of Wimbledon, won the U.S. Open. And the Australia, I'm not sure how he did. He did not make the finals. Here are my quick notes before we get to the Amanda Anisimova. You'll tell from her tone of voice, she feels very disappointed in her tournament. She feels like she didn't do everything she wanted to do. I think when she takes a deep breath, gets some sleep, there's a lot of pressure as an American to win at home. She avenged her 6-0, 6-0 loss to Iga Swiatek. She played unbelievable tennis. Her semifinal against Osaka was a great testament to her grit and fight. Made the finals of the U.S. Open. Made the finals of Wimbledon. Did anybody have a better year than her? Sabalenka? Sabalenka won the Australian and won the U.S. Open. Yeah, I mean, so, unbelievable tournament. I'm very impressed with her game. If there is a hole, it's probably her forehand, maybe her movement, but her movement is much better than you kind of expect. And her forehand can be very offensive. And her backhand is money. I fucking love watching Amanda Anisimova hit a backhand. I tried like hell to get her on the Daily Show tomorrow because I'm hosting and I wanted to interview the American that made it the furthest. I think she's already home doing whatever. But too bad. Congrats to Amanda Anisimova on a great tournament. And Sabalenka, one thing that's cool about living in New York is the semis against Pegula. I went out to dinner with my wife and we're just kind of walking around Brooklyn and you just pop in a bar and they got Sabalenka Pegula on a projection screen at a wine bar, And Manhattan does it better than Brooklyn, to be honest with you. I wish Brooklyn would have more tennis on, but it was just really fun to sit and watch those two compete. Pegula played an amazing third set. She got broken in the first game. She didn't lose a lot of points on her serve. She was holding easily. She fought her ass off. But when you watch Sabalenka, when you just look at Sabalenka, she looks like a world number one tennis player. And one of the only things Chris Everett said this week that made any sense to me on TV, because she talks, my God. And by the way, TikTok is feeding me so much criticism of the commentators. Obviously, it's listening to my pod or something. And it's easy to criticize the commentators. I don't like this wire. Sorry, you guys are right. You guys are right. I should have done better. YouTube is right. The comments are going to be like, fix your wire, bro. They understand pressure. They understand Grand Slams. Patrick McEnroe does a nice job of explaining to non-tennis viewers what a tiebreak is, how you win the points, which I know it sounds funny to a tennis viewer, but it is really important for people that are tuning in. Wait, what are they doing now? Why are they changing sides? Whatever. John and Chris, the last time they won a Grand Slam was a long, long, long time ago. What's interesting is now you've got James Blake and Sam Querrey and Coco Vandeweghe, who also didn't win a Grand Slam. So, haven't won a Grand Slam in a long time because they never won a Grand Slam. I do think their insight is good. I think you'll see James Blake probably doing finals. I think Sam's great. I think Coco's great. But if you're ESPN, first of all, you're going to hold on to those guys and girls for as long as their contract allows, but they're going to be changing soon. I hope. I would love some fresh blood in there. I would love some more, some more unique choices at courtside. Anyone that went to the U.S. Open this year knows that it's a shit show. It's too loud. Too many people don't understand the sport. They're there because their company has tickets. They're taking selfies while Jannik Sinner's trying to serve, and Jannik is literally looking up at these like corporate dudes with their vests on. The U.S. Open is constantly showing this Althea Gibson video on loop, and then you counter all of them pushing their low-income tennis like on every single screen, and then you look to your right and it's like 900 white males in finance bro jackets. It's a shit show of optics, of reality, how much money they make on the honeydews. How much money are they spending to build the sport? I would love to know that. I would love to know what the USTA is doing for the average tennis player to improve the sport. Why is pickleball growing so quickly? It's easier to play. It's more accessible. There's no barrier for entry. There's more courts. There's more tennis courts technically, but they're building more pickleball courts. I mean, it's such a commercial shit show, the US Open. I would love to know as a tennis fan and player, and if you're doing this and I don't know, well, then the messaging is off. What are you doing to grow the sport? Besides charging me, what are you doing to grow the sport? How many more new tennis courts have you added? How many courts have you fixed? Jackie Robinson Park here in Brooklyn. Did the USTA pay for that? Those new courts? By the way, they're asphalt. They're not even cement. It's like an asphalt, and they've got the manhole covers on it. And I don't even want to. They painted them nicely. Typical Brooklyn. They painted them, but it's not a good tennis court. If the United States government is of service to its people, we need to know what it's doing for us. If the USTA is of service to us as tennis players and as a tennis community, where's the money going? I would love to know that. I'm sure we could find it, but I just don't get the sense that they're out. Why are people waiting in line at 6 a.m. at the Fort Greene tennis courts? I got to put this on Do Not Disturb. Sorry. Why are people waiting in 6 a.m. lines at the Fort Greene tennis courts to sign up for a court at 4 p.m.? There should be 60 courts in Fort Greene, and then 30 in Clinton Hill, and then 25 in Crown Heights, and then there shouldn't just be 2 on the West Side Highway. I had notes somewhere. Oh, my notes. Let's go through my notes. By far, Alcaraz just made Jannik Sinner. He can change. His forehand can be explosive. And then to watch Jannik have to respond to that in the only way that he knows how to, which is just hit the ball as hard as he can. Jannik made so many mistakes because of Alcaraz's speed. Patrick did a decent job of showcasing that, but it's one of those things you feel, and all the data and all the IBM Watson, all the AI bullshit. By the way, guys, go watch the AI generated match clips. It's a disaster. Game, point, service in the net. Shut up. Hire a college tennis player to voice that for $6 an hour that understands the sport, actually. And it's been bad. It's been bad. Feeling someone's speed really fucks you up. And you feel like instead of your margin of error being here, you feel like you got to hit it here. Whether you do or you don't, you probably do with Carlos Alcaraz. It really, really fucks you up. And you saw Jannik Sinner making mistakes that you never see him make. Short ball errors, routine forehand, cross courts, just out by a little bit because he knows if I don't go big on this, Carlos Alcaraz is going to hurt me. And I think one of the commentators, might have been Patrick, said that against these guys, you have to take the match. And that's what Carlos Alcaraz did. You have to take the match. You have to go into the match not thinking I'm going to play great defense. I'm not Leighton Hewitt. I'm not Alex de Minaur. I'm going to fucking steal this match from you. I'm going to pummel you to death with this match. I am going to ram the ball down your throat. That's how you got to think. Because that's what's, if you end up playing defense, fine, you end up playing defense. But you got to go in with that winning mentality. This goes for everybody in every profession, including comedy. I'm not just going to go out there and do the jokes. I need to go out there and fucking hammer this audience. And that's what Carlos did, and it was very, very fun to see. I don't care that the U.S. Open keeps showing celebrities. They really fucked themselves, ESPN. They kept showing celebrities, all 2 weeks, celebrities. So John Hamm, Ben Stiller, okay, great. And then Trump shows up, and it was like they didn't know what to do. Are we supposed to keep showing them? Are we not supposed to? Well, I don't know. You've been showing celebrities for 2 fucking weeks. If this is your whole model, show a little bit of tennis and then show John Hamm eating a celery stick. Here's an idea. Show the player in between points. That's okay. I'd like to see Felix's face in between points while he's trying to figure out how the fuck am I supposed to beat the world number 1 Jannik Sinner right now. But instead, you've cut to like Blink 182's guitarist. And if you're going, Kosta's mad because they never cut to him, you're right. No, I don't. I show me the match. Does anybody care about the pre-match interview? Does anybody give a fuck what Aryna Sabalenka says 10 seconds before she starts the match because she doesn't say anything anyways because she's thinking about the match? And they don't give anything away. The Trump thing was very funny to me. You know, it was pushed out that ESPN was trying to silence its commentators. I didn't buy that. I think it's normal for a TV network to say, hey, there's going to be a political thing that's happening. Don't comment. You know, I work in an industry, in a world, the Daily Show, where it's the complete opposite. It's like, comment, please. You have to comment. People are tuning in to comment to that. But yeah, I mean, I wish more individuals would speak out about this authoritarian rule and about the threat to democracy. I wish more people had the ball sack to step up and say, no, it's not okay to unleash the military into Chicago or DC or LA or soon to be New Orleans or wherever. I wish more people would speak up, but it isn't unique to me to have a media source that's, I don't know how much they paid to broadcast the US Open, to tell its commentators, hey, don't talk about Trump or don't mention this. Obviously they still can, you know, that's up for people to do. And you know, I don't know. It makes me laugh that all of these other tennis podcasts never talk about anything else but tennis. And then here comes your boy Kosta. And sometimes people get mad because I talk about Trump so much on a tennis pod. But then it's like, here comes Trump to watch the US Open. So this is my whole point about all this shit. Is sports isn't just sports. You can't just talk about forehands and backhands. It means more shit than that. When a Ukrainian player is playing a Russian player, you can't just sit here and say, oh, I hope the inside-out forehand works for the Ukrainian player today. No, there's more shit happening. There's geopolitical shit. Donald Trump showing up to watch a Spaniard and an Italian play at his former state of residence, who, by the way, copied everything that the dictator from Italy did, Mussolini. It does not surprise me that Donald Trump showed up to watch Jannik Sinner play. Not that Jannik Sinner's Mussolini, but that you go watch Mussolini give a speech. By the way, he was killed by his own country in a firing squad, because that's what always happens to authoritarian rulers. To Trump, like Italy versus Spain is like this old world. This is the way men used to be, you know. Also, he likes tennis. He lives in Mar-a-Lago. He always liked tennis. He's a terrible forehand. He played tennis forever. When I used to work with Regis Philbin, he would talk about playing tennis with Donald Trump. So really shitty for the fans that had to wait so long in line. Really shitty for everyone that had to wait for the security. Imagine spending $2,000 on a finals ticket and you can't even get in because everybody had to get security checked. I thought it would be an interesting story if like one of the New York fans tried to beat up the president or something. But then I was like, no, anyone that would result to violence probably voted for him. Also, I was hating knowing that one side was going to say people were cheering for Trump and the other side would say people were booing for Trump. This happens all the time at the Daily Show. Someone shows a clip and they're like, people were booing Olivia Rodrigo. It's like, no, the person holding the thing was booing. Boo! In general, I think ESPN, you know, you show Trump a few times, I guess. I don't know. But he has that he has that personality. It's hard not to talk about when he's there. I personally would much prefer if people just watched the tennis and talked about the tennis and not the president being there. But also, I ask for anyone who's a public figure to speak out. If you think bullshit's happening, speak out. And I personally think bullshit is happening. And what's scary and what's tricky is that this person was elected. And yeah. Hey, here's an idea. When the crowd is cheering loudly and a player hits a ball 90 miles an hour towards the sideline, we don't know if the ball's in or out, the viewer. And this happens very much so while watching live. The players usually can hear a line call, but at the very least with a human lines person, you would see them go like this, out. And here I'll give another freebie to ESPN. There needs to be a red box or a red border or something on all of the fucking screens you have that when a ball is out and called out automatically, boop, something red flashes. It's out. They sometimes show a replay if it's a close call, but too often, it happened a lot of times in this final. These guys are aiming for the lines and they're aiming fast. Too often, the ball was called out. We don't know as fans. And we're just like, what happened? And you have to wait for the score to show up. They have to improve that viewer experience both live, where you can't even hear it because it's too loud, especially at the U.S. Open, and watching on TV. Something needs to out immediately. Not just audible, visual cues. Come on, everybody. That's basic shit. Every time Darren Cahill stands up, and I watched Yannick play Felix Auger-Aliassime, and I was maybe 50 feet from Darren and his team. He only stands up at certain times. Him standing up and his team standing up is a signal to Yannick. I don't know what that signal is. I think it's more than just like, hey, here we go, big point. I think it's like, hey, keep doing that. I think it's like, I'm sensing you're down. We're here to pick you up. Like he's very deliberate. Him and his team are very deliberate about when they stand up. And I guarantee you they speak ahead of time as a team. When you see us stand up or when you see just me stand up, this means something. I do love how Jannik Sinner is just so poker faced the whole fucking time. You can't tell anything. Carlos Alcaraz won, then he ran into the players box. I first remember that 1987 Pat Cash Wimbledon. I am still terrified every time that happens. Security, I am terrified. I do not think players should run into a security box. Can you imagine soccer doing this? The guy would get beaten to death. I know there's two security guards going like this. It's not good, and I'm afraid of it, and you heard it here first. All right, let's get to Jannik Sinner. I think you're going to love this. Basically, he says he's just like acts like such a champion. This is why he is a champion. He's not moping. He's not overly sad. He's not depressed. He's focused on the positives from the year. He's focused on how he can improve. And he's very matter-of-fact about how the match went. He played better than me. And that's it. And you go back to work. Whereas someone like me, who I talk about a lot in my book, Lucky Loser, every loss was such a dramatic fucking thing. Now, to my defense, maybe every loss was such a dramatic thing because I didn't have a coach, a trainer, money, a plan. So I was just floating. So you get lost and it feels like you just get fucking smacked into outer space and you got to find your way back to Earth every time. Whereas these guys, it's like, okay, we lost. It hurt. Let's go get $1.6 million, $2 million for being in the finals. Hey, Coach Darren Cahill, what's the plan? Here's the plan. Beijing. You just keep going. It's easier when you have that infrastructure in place. And certainly that could have been something I could have done better as a player, even though I didn't have any money.
Turn it over to my friends here in the front row.
Here's Jannik.
Matt.
Hey, Yannick, well done this tournament. How was Carlos different today than the player that you have faced in the past, even as recently as Wimbledon? Did you
Well, no, he has improved. I felt like was a bit cleaner today. The things what I did well in London, he did better today, and that's the result. So I felt like he was doing everything slightly better today, especially serving. Both sides, both swings, very clean. And yeah, I think that's it. There's I'll give lots of credit to him, because he handled the situation better than I did, and he raised his level when he had to, and so yeah, I mean, I'm still proud of myself about the season I'm playing and making, but yeah, he played better than me today.
Willie.
Right? He played better than me. I'm proud of myself. That is what happened. Doesn't mean we can't get better. He's going to talk about getting better, but look, it's easier when you've got Grand Slams in your back pocket. Amanda's press conference is much different. She doesn't have a Grand Slam. She's wondering, am I ever going to get one? It feels bigger. It feels sadder. But I do think this is a very professional, very elite response.
Yannick, when you think about that season that you just referenced, that you said you're proud of, what are your thoughts looking ahead to where this rivalry can go?
Well,
if you are sleeping in a position like...
Ad. God, I fucking hate... I already watched this. Why do I have to watch another ad? Sorry, everybody. Chronic neck pain.
I was very predictable today, on court, in a way of he did many things. He changed up the game. That's also his style of how he plays. Now it's gonna be on me if I want to make changes or not. So that's definitely, we are gonna work on that. Trying to be more prepared for the next match. What I will play against him, and it also, I feel like, depends how you arrive to play against Carlos. One thing is when the scoreline, matches before are comfortable, but you always do the same things. Like I did, for example, during this tournament. I didn't make one serve volley. I didn't use a lot of drop shots. And then you arrive to a point where you play against Carlos where you have to go out of the comfort zone. So I'm gonna, aim to, maybe even losing some matches from now on. But trying.
Did you hear that? I may lose some matches because I got to work on my drop shot. I got to serve and volley more. His game doesn't have enough variety. He knows that. Cahill's talked about that. We all know that. It's hard to see that when he pummels the ball and he beats people 1-2 and 1 over and over and over again. But then you get to a match against Carlos, and he's got to be careful not to focus all of his energy on beating Carlos. But he does need more variety. He will never be a Carlos Alcaraz as far as variety is concerned, but he needs to have more. Because Carlos knows exactly the level that Yannick's going to be. I would recommend Yannick showing a little more emotion. Because he's just like this the whole time. And you need to be a little more. Be a little more. But I love that he's recognizing this, talking about this. I'm going to lose some matches because I'm going to serve and volley. I mean, everybody knows on a huge point, Jannik Sinner is not serving and volleying. So fucking serve and volley. I mean, Novak has been doing that more. Did he make 3 semifinals, Novak? That's crazy, right? He's done, washed up, retired. He's like, I made 3 semifinals of the Grand Slams.
To do some changes, trying to be a bit more unpredictable as a player, and because I think that's what I have to do, trying to become a better tennis player. At the end of the day, that's my main goal. So and I think that's it. So. But overall,
my main goal is to become a better tennis player. I fucking love this guy.
The season result-wise, amazing. For Grand Slam finals of the year. 2 Grand Slams won, 2 times lost in the final. It's incredible results, no? So very happy, and now we try to finish the year as strong as we can.
In the back row,
True
Catherine.
that. Mic drop.
Obviously, there was a significant delay to the start of the match.
He was not bothered by the delay. I think the media is looking for like Trump something.
Hi, Yannick. How would you describe the biggest difference in facing Carlos versus facing other players?
Well, we have maybe more history also in back of us, so it's, every match is...
He's very generous with his kindness to the reporters. He just lost a Grand Slam final, and he just kind of assumes the best of the reporter. I don't think that reporter was asking a mean question, but there are other athletes that when asked that would say like, wouldn't give the reporter the benefit of the doubt and would snap back. And I just find it so, you know me, I love a kind-hearted, nice world champion.
It's different. He's just a different player, It's very simple. He's a different player. He doesn't have weaknesses, for example, which maybe some players they have weaknesses. Then you try to play tactically in a way. But I feel like mostly we have some history.
What's Carlos's weakness? His weakness is that he sometimes checks out mentally because it's not interesting to him. You don't have a weakness. You can't bring him in. You can't really attack the second serve. He passes well. Maybe passing. I haven't seen him do too much passing, but it's so hard to come in because he's so offensive right out of the gate. He's so fast. He lobs so well. He lobs really well. I love when a player can lob well. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. So that's what Jannik Sinner, I wonder how much happy and positive he'll be if it's 7 years from now and he's lost to Carlos a lot more. But right now he's seeing it as a challenge to improve his variety in game, and I love that. And it is true. What's Carlos's weakness?
Some head-to-head, some different surface battles now, and I think that makes it quite interesting.
Eleanor?
Yannick, normally for a Grand Slam final, you'd walk out and the stadium would be full, obviously.
Question saying there's a lot of empty seats. Did that bother you? He said, I didn't notice.
Ben?
And how much do you think that you can change your sort of practice habits and your training
This is the last question that I like, and then we'll move on to Amanda.
habits to do things that are specific to playing Alcaraz in the future? How much can you sort of reprogram a bit of your
I don't
yourself?
think it's gonna be specific for Carlos. I think it's specific for me trying to get better. I think it's
Great.
it's that. As I said, I feel like today he was cleaner than I was. That what I did great in London, he did the same to me here. So it's a little bit like that. For sure.
By the way, Jannik last year at the Open, which he won? Yeah. Last year at the Open, I couldn't believe how much better he was volleying. I said it on this pod. I was watching his matches, and he was moving forward, and he was finishing points at the net. And I go, holy shit, this is not the Jannik Sinner I remember. So he will improve. He will improve. Next year at this time, he may have served and volleyed a few more points or whatever. So he will do it. That is his mindset, and it's fun to see that.
The serve today was not on point.
His serve was
I
whack
felt
today.
I was struggling a lot today, but was already struggling during the tournament. So, but no, I've. It takes time. It's one secret is also patience. It's not like comes from now and then in Beijing I'm gonna be a lefty.
Fucking jokes. One of the secrets is patience. Hey, here's one of the secrets. Be patient. I'm saying this to you, Kosta. You can't always force it. You can't always push it to where you want. One of the secrets, just be patient, bro. Yannick Sinner said that. He's not just going to be in Beijing and be a lefty all of a sudden.
You know, so let's see. It's gonna take time, and then we see. Look, maybe it's just a small thing. Maybe I can change big. I don't know. So let's see.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Congrats, Yannick. One of the secrets is patience. Here's Amanda. She's disappointed. We're not going to play too much of hers. She's sad. She says she couldn't see the ball well. She hadn't played daytime at Ash yet. So that put her in a little bit of a panic. And she feels like she let herself down. And, you know, look, the last time we heard Amanda really talk like this was she lost 0-0 at the Wimbledon final. But in a way, that was such a devastating loss that she kind of went into, hey, you know, it didn't feel like the match was attainable to her. This one, I felt like she felt like I could beat this person, and she had a great record against Sabalenka. So she feels more sad and more let down. She even tweeted on her Instagram, like, I hope the positive results start to happen, you know, really like ho-hum, the world is over type shit. I get it. I've been there. I felt that way after losing, and I can only imagine. You want a Grand Slam so badly. You've lost in 2 finals, and you're thinking, "Oh fuck, is this ever going to happen?" But I believe it will for her. You never know, though. I love when the opponent always says at the trophy ceremony, "Hey, Amanda, you're going to get one." It's like, you don't know that. You don't fucking know that. I think, you know, Team said that to Zverev at the U.S. Open final during COVID. "Oh man, you're my good friend, but don't worry, you're going to get one." Is he? Is he?
But yeah, I mean, the rallies weren't long at all. So it was really tough. And I didn't really notice that I was making more winners on her.
Eleanor.
Amanda, you seem to be unhappy with something when you were throwing the ball up to serve.
I don't like that one.
You had a lot more.
I like that.
I wish I played more. Yeah,
This is kind of a heartbreaking question and a heartbreaking answer. And I just hope Amanda realizes that it isn't true, but it's not like a tactical question or answer. It's more just about these elusive things we call dreams and hopes. And it's a bit glum, but I think it's interesting.
Congratulations on the tournament. I just wanted to ask about something I think you said in the speech. I think you said I didn't fight hard enough for my dreams today. Could you explain what you meant by that? Because it looked like you were fighting.
She was definitely fighting.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like throughout the match, I wasn't playing my best tennis, or I don't know. I feel like with finals, I have a lot of nerves, and it's something.
So she's kind of like making things bigger than they already are. In finals, I always do this. Like, just take it by the. You don't always. Your whole life, you won the U.S. Open Juniors. Your whole life, you've done this? No, but that's how it feels right after you lose like this.
I'm trying to work on, but I wish I played more aggressive. And of course, she was playing amazing. Like, she was playing very aggressive and doing all the right things. So she made it very difficult for me today. But yeah, I mean, I didn't win today. So of course, I didn't do enough. So that's just the reality. And I have to accept that. And yeah, I feel like if I fought harder, then maybe I would have given myself more of a chance, but I feel like I was really kind of in the back seat today.
Ben.
You're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I didn't win. But, you know, sometimes you can do all the right things and still lose. Let's jump ahead.
But yeah, again, today was a really tough match and she made it difficult for me, but it doesn't mean that I didn't do all the same things that I've been doing every other day.
Howard.
Amanda, you've played Arena a lot over the years, of course. Was there anything she did today that was a little different or that surprised you at all? And then I'd also just like to ask you about what makes it impossible to beat her in a tiebreaker? I mean, her record in those is just incredible this season.
She's not going to like that.
Yeah, she came out and she was playing great tennis from the start. Obviously, she's number one and she's very capable of playing amazing tennis, which she did that today. I give all the credit to her.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I also have a pretty good record in tiebreaks, I'm pretty sure. I just wasn't playing great, couldn't serve.
It's this fine line between giving your opponent respect and also feeling deep down like, fuck her, I'm going to crush her, you know? And she's like, yeah, I have a good tiebreak record also. So
Again. And yeah, I mean, that's the reason why she's number one. And that's why I said that in my speech. Like, I truly, really admire her. And she puts in a lot of work. And that's why she's where she is. And yeah, we've had a lot of tough matches. I wish today would have gone a bit deeper, but that's the way it is.
David.
Congratulations on another great run. With all of your success this year, this will probably be the first time you're in contention to qualify for the WTA finals. I'm just curious how that changes how you feel coming into the fall.
None. So, hey, congrats, Amanda Anisimova. That feels like shit, but Sabalenka is a beast. She deserves to win. She's one of these few players that when the going gets tough, she hits the ball harder and fights harder, and I love watching Aryna Sabalenka play. Was tremendously impressed by Amanda Anisimova and her response to beating Iga Swiatek, a player she lost to 6-0, 6-0 in the Wimbledon final. And keep in mind, this is someone that stepped away from the game, Anisimova, took a college class, began to paint, walked away from the sport to get her mind right, and she did. You can't win everything. She has a lot to be proud of. Open invitation to come on The Daily Show, Amanda, anytime, and we'll dork out about your tennis because, man, is her backhand sweet and is her service motion sweet too. In a lot of ways, her and Aryna have a similar style of play and a similar game, and everyone was rooting for Amanda, obviously. I don't think I saw her on one billboard, on one USTA commercial, on one endorsement, right? It's all these other more media-friendly faces, and Amanda showed everybody, fuck you, I can beat everybody in the world, and I deserve to win this thing, and she practically did. Hey, that's the Tennis Anyone podcast. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for listening. See me I'm hosting The Daily Show this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, September 19th, Grand Rapids, September 20th, Milwaukee, October 3rd and 4th, Detroit, Michigan. More live dates to come. This was a lot of fun. Congrats on a great U.S. Open. Move your feet, aggressive swings, safe targets. Game, set, match. Kosta.